Don't forget to subscribe, that way you save every week. And don't forget to check the chapters with over 60 PSVR2 games on sale, as I can easily recommend all the games in the first half of this video. This is part 1 of the summer-winter sale ending July 30th. Starting with the #1 contender for VR Game of the Year, this Zelda-style sci-fi epic adventure sounds just like a Skyrim, but plays like a dream, becoming a complete extension of your body with the most exhilarating and addictive gameplay that makes this an absolute must-have masterpiece. Arken Age is the game I didn't know I needed, but immediately fell in love with the moment I entered this alien yet medieval world, fusing nature and artificial intelligence together, making this incredibly cool to play from start to finish. And for the first time ever, it's 40% off. Over 800 people have rated it 4.82 out of 5 stars, with 95% of the audience giving it 4 or 5 out of 5. And I totally understand why, because this is now one of my favorite games of all time. Welcome to the beautiful Biochasm. Brimming with life and genius design, this wondrous world will instantly envelop you with its masterful game mechanics, mesmerizing music and sound effects, while fully utilizing the PSVR2 sensational sense and headset haptics, along with those awesome adaptive triggers. But it's the phenomenal physics-based combat system that is so revolutionary, I felt compelled to make a separate video showing exactly what settings I used to get the most immersive and intuitive controls that you simply cannot get on the flat screen. And for those of you that have been waiting patiently, wanting to get the most out of this incredible game, Hitman World of Assassination Deluxe Edition does include a bunch of extra PSVR2 content, and it's currently 55% off right now. Just be sure to pay that $10 American for that PSVR2 upgrade on the PlayStation Store, download it and install it, then load the game to unlock the Ultimate Edition to literally become Agent 47. Over 46,000 people have rated the flat and VR version combined, making it 4.38 out of 5 stars, with 83% of the audience giving this 4 or 5 out of 5. And just a few months ago, I made a video detailing all the DLC that currently works on the PSVR2, excluding the latest paid DLC, but I'm just going to go over what's on sale here, but you can totally check that out if you want to know everything available for Hitman. But what's really cool is that with this deluxe edition, most of the content is VR compatible, starting with 2 new maps, New York and Haven Island, that are VR compatible, but the 2 Sniper Assassin maps are not in VR. However, when it comes to those unlockable deluxe items and suits, you will be able to use the Winter Sports Pack, which features the Snowball, Quick Draw, Pitten, Arctic Toolbox, and Winter Sports Suit. As well, the Smart Casual Pack includes the Smart Casual Suit, IO Elite S2VP earphones, and the IC8 Flash Phone. The Executive Pack features the IC8 Executive Briefcase, the ICA-19 Black Lily, and the Midnight Black Suit. And the Collector's Pack has a Remote Concussion Collector's Rubber Duck, and the Midnight Black Suit in that one as well. Interesting. The Special Assignment Packs #1 and 2 are currently not available in VR. However, there are 6 deluxe escalations that are VR compatible, and are unique in that they offer more items and cosmetics as a reward for completing them. The digital soundtrack, digital World of Hitman book, and director commentary for the mission introduction is not available in VR, as far as I know. And what's really cool is that all 7 of the deadly sins are also playable in VR. Wake up! This contains cosmetic items which are rewarded for completing these special escalation contracts. It claims that the levels feature unique game mechanics not found elsewhere in the trilogy. And nestled into the storyline, the 7 deadly sins hallucinations take place sometime after Agent 47 is poisoned in Mendoza. The next thing to mention is that there are 2 celebrity elusive targets which are VR compatible, but are separate paid DLC. Each has a cosmetic and item pack you can buy on the PlayStation Store. Starting with The Drop, and it's 30% off. And with that, you're getting the Club Boom DJ suit, the 12-inch vinyl sampler, 12-inch flight case, the red light flash grenade, and the base, a 2-level arcade contract featuring the Drop elusive target. As well, it says that you're getting a set of cosmetics for the Freelancer safe house inspired by the Drop mission. However, the Freelancer mode is not available in VR currently.
Your target is Mark Faber, also known as the Undying.
And the second paid DLC that is VR compatible is the Undying pack, and it's currently 30% off. And with this pack, you're getting the Ephemeral suit with eye patch, the Kronstant Mini Flash Robo Exo 12900, the surround earphones, explosive pen, and the Ouroboros, a 3-level arcade contract featuring the undying elusive target. As well, it says you're getting a set of cosmetics for the Freelancer safe house. However, again, the Freelancer mode is not available in VR. If you just got the PSVR2 because of the permanent price reduction, then you absolutely need Gran Turismo 7. The real driving simulator cranks the immersion full throttle in the most breathtaking racing experience, and it's 50 to 58% off right now. With over 40,000 people rating it, 4.37 out of 5 stars, 84% of the audience gave it 4 or 5 out of 5. What's really cool is that you can use your DualSense controller playing Gran Turismo while you're charging your PSVR Sense controllers, playing with the traditional classic setup or motion controls where you can steer it just like a racing wheel. But I highly recommend getting at least a decent force feedback racing wheel, as it really is absolutely mind-blowing. I've never played anything at the arcades that felt even close to this force feedback wheel, and couple that with the PSVR2 4K HDR OLED display, along with the headset haptics, and you're totally living the dream here. Specifically, I'm currently using the Logitech G29 from like 6 years ago, and I'm still really happy with it. But I really do want to upgrade to a direct drive wheel, as they provide the most precise, most realistic next-gen racing experience. So I do have to recommend everyone looking into that and maybe spending the extra couple $100 if you can afford it. And you're seeing that the whole direct drive thing allows you to change up the steering wheel directly to that motorized base, allowing you to essentially switch out any style of wheel. But I personally want to get the Logitech DD Pro, as it touts to have the actual direct drive steering with a life-sized steering wheel, unlike all the other ones I'm seeing here on the market. Now, if you really want to feel everything without connecting directly to the Matrix, you can clamp that racing wheel onto the yaw motion simulator, and as you can see right here, the sense of speed and braking would be perfectly translated in real life, like having an amusement park in your living room. Legit. Of course, quality does cost money, and this thing is at least a couple thousand US, but I do want to show you guys what's currently possible now at home, especially with the PSVR2 setup here. And for those of you like me who were able to get the PS5 Pro, I want to give a shout out to Cussman. In the comments last time GT7 was on sale, he had explained in excellent detail on how to set up the video output settings to eliminate the reprojection in GT7. This is at the cost of the HUD element showing more wonkiness, which, to be honest, I shut the HUD off completely, so it's perfect for me. Thanks so much, Cussman, for sharing that info. That's truly game-changing stuff. Very much appreciated. And everyone, please check out Cussman's YouTube channel for many other gameplay demonstrations that you can't find anywhere else. Awesome. And for those of you that are still unsure whether or not Gran Turismo 7 is for you, as Cussman mentions here, you can check out My First Gran Turismo on the PlayStation Store for free right now. And yes, this is PlayStation VR2 compatible. And I gotta say, I didn't realize how much content the free trial offers here. This is a beginner-friendly introduction to the world of racing, crafted to bring the most excitement of Gran Turismo to new players. It captures the essence of those unforgettable first laps in a streamlined, approachable experience. Players can unlock achievements by completing a variety of fun and engaging challenges that introduce essential racing techniques such as cornering, braking, and acceleration. Set record times across an array of challenges, including 3 race events, time trials, and license tests. Feel the exhilaration of driving 18 unique cars through a variety of scenarios that sharpen your racing craft on 3 iconic Gran Turismo circuits: Kyoto Driving Park, Deep Forest Raceway, and Trial Mountain Circuit. Either way, this is a true system seller, and you'll always have something to play for years to come, whether in single player mode, campaign, against Sophie the super sophisticated AI, and of course online multiplayer with its online worldwide tournaments. The only real negative for some of you is that the game requires an internet connection to play even single player, so just a heads up on that. Don your gas mask, wield handmade weapons, and venture into the depths of this apocalyptic nightmare in Metro Awakening. And it's 30% off right now. Over 2,300 people have rated it 4.44 out of 5 stars, with 86% of the audience giving this 4 or 5 out of 5. In the year 2028, the survivors of nuclear war cling to the existence in the buried subways of the Moscow Metro, which has become civilization's last refuge and tomb, where spirits haunt the living in this man-made purgatory. You are a doctor searching for your wife as you brave the crippling radiation, darkness, and deadly threats of the Metro, desperately trying to find the medication she needs. As your courage and sanity are pushed to the limit, you must learn to walk the line between life and death, the spiritual and the material world, and awaken the being you must become.
We can solve this problem once and for all.
They're trying to make a vaccine. You want to come? Good dog, buddy!
Arizona Sunshine 2 Deluxe Edition, the next-gen sequel to the fan-favorite VR Apocalypse, is currently 50% off right now. Over 2,800 people have rated it 4.53 out of 5 stars, with 90% of the audience giving this 4 or 5 out of 5. And with this Deluxe Edition, you do get the exclusive Undead Buddy skin as you're seeing here, as well as the exclusive Freddy Flesh Hand skin, and the exclusive Doggy Weapon Charm, which I don't think it does anything in the game. It could just be this decorative thing, but in a post-apocalyptic world where every bullet counts, experience the thrill of realistic combat as you wield all new and fan-favorite weapons. And what's really kick-ass, man, that I've been waiting to play this game, you can enjoy the full campaign in 2-player co-op mode. As well, you can join up to 3 other players in 4-player co-op Horde mode, and they've already released an abundance of maps for the actual Horde mode, so very cool, man. They put a lot of love and attention to this game and then included all this extra DLC. And what's better than braving the end of the world than surviving it with your new best friend, Buddy? Not only is Buddy your 4-legged companion through thick and thin, he's also the goodest boy and will help take down those pesky Freds for you. And they really put a spotlight on this dog, man. There's even extra skins like an undead doggy and, you know, another breed of dog, the corgi, altogether, which is really weird but looks really cool. Everyone in the past that's commented on this game whenever it's gone on sale has only said great things about this game, seriously. And again, if you have a friend to play with or friends to play with, only better from what I'm hearing. Now, if you want both Metro Awakening and Arizona Sunshine 2, the standard edition, you can get them bundled together at 35% off. And this bundle's rating is reflecting Metro Awakening score only. It's not incorporating Arizona Sunshine 2. That said, if you're like me and you had the PSVR 1 and you played the original, Arizona Sunshine Remake is currently 40% off right now. But if you already own the game from the PSVR 1 days, do be sure to pay that upgrade fee instead because it's much cheaper. That said, over 6,000 people have rated it 4.1 out of 5 stars, with 78% of the audience giving it 4 or 5 out of 5. And I just have to speak to this really quick. Arizona Sunshine on the PSVR 1, I did experience that co-op mode and I thought it was good. Again, good, that's the best way to describe it. But the mechanics were not polished like Farpoint. I am hoping the actual mechanics, the gameplay, the controls are much better than what I remember on the PSVR 1, just saying. What I didn't realize is that this remake actually offers all of the DLC from the first game. Very cool, man. Being honest, I don't think I played any of the DLC. I just played the original campaign all the way through with my friend and I was kind of done with it after that, so. And of course, they've kept that intact. You can play the original campaign in co-op mode on Arizona Sunshine Remake, as well as the 4-player Horde mode, and I do believe that was already available on the PSVR 1, so nothing different there from what I remember. And just to remind you again, if you do own the game on the PSVR 1, do pay that upgrade fee before buying this on sale at that sale price. The most advanced combat system to ever grace a video game has done it again. Introducing the latest massive update, Deadeye, in Hellsweeper VR Deluxe Edition, and it's 60% off. Over 700 people have rated it 4.32 out of 5 stars, with 83% of the audience giving this 4 or 5 out of 5. With this Deluxe Edition, you are getting the Mythic Hellhound skin, the VR official soundtrack, and the digital art book. What's really cool is that this is one of the 18 games that is natively compatible with the bHaptics haptic suit and tack sleeves, giving you the most immersive experience possible. And this has got to be the most incredibly complicated, awesome combat system I've ever played in any video game whatsoever. Quite literally, the more time that you put into this game, the more options you choose and play with, the more that this becomes an extension of your body. Legit, it took me about 5 or 6 hours of playing around just to get the actual controls that I wanted for this game, and it was well worth it. I legit now feel like John Wick in VR. It's incredible. And just to speak to this, I've literally put in approximately 30 hours into this game, and I've hardly scratched the surface. I keep sticking to the same weapons and guns and stuff because I'm still ranking them up. I'm still progressing in the game. And then there's a whole slew of other weapons that totally transform the entire game experience, literally, that I've yet to unlock and touch. And then there's the actual co-op mode where you can play with a friend and then combine your weapons and powers at the same time. Every time this game's on sale, I keep trying to show everybody how this is the most incredible combat system in any game I've ever played before. I keep telling people this is for the VR veteran. What I mean by that is you're not going to get motion sick. It's just that there's so many options to to play this game. And the actual default controls, man, I totally hated, jumping into the game right away. Had I just stuck with that, I would not have been playing with it more than for half an hour to an hour. And now with the latest patch, Deadeye, you can shoot magic through your fingertips, have environmental interactions such as freezing water or using fire on gas pipes, along with a slew of new traits and a new enemy type that is toxic and can self-heal. I've left the official patch notes in the description if you want to check out all the details.
Why would they build a research facility way out here?
Red Matter 2 is an award-winning immersive puzzle adventure, and it's currently 43% off right now. Over 2,100 people have rated it 4.83 out of 5 stars, with 97% of the audience giving this 4 or 5 out of 5. That's got to be one of the best ratings on the PlayStation Store. Quite simply, this game has blown me away technically speaking, and has set the bar for what I expect a PSVR2 game can look and play like. And I am happy to report I've just completed it, and every moment in Red Matter 2 is utterly jaw-dropping. Just as a heads up, the story does kick off right after Red Matter 1, and I highly recommend you play that one first. And even though this trailer does show some action sequences, it's really about 5% of the game, and a few have commented in the past that they felt bored playing it, so I do have to manage expectations here. Personally, I had a blast with this entire game, and have to remind everyone that this really is an environmental puzzle-based game. So I don't even want to tell you anything about the story. It did make a lot of sense to me, part 1, and now it's making a lot more sense as I'm playing just the first hour of the game. I cannot get over just walking around ever so slowly using my full body to turn in room scale VR, and everything just feels absolutely smooth and seamless.
Like movement based on controller. Yes, this is what you do want for room scale VR. Otherwise, if you go by head, when you're moving forward and you turn your head, all of a sudden your guy's going to walk that way. It's not realistic. You want it on controller for every game. And just to point this out as a room scale walking example, if I move forward and keep my arms still straight, that's how I can still move forward and look around. The moment I turn my arm with my head while pressing forward, that's what's turning me. It just feels like a next-gen experience, and you don't want to go back after that. Not using a right stick to turn at all. We don't do that in real life, you know what I'm saying? It's just natural to walk and look around. Wow. That's the hardest thing, guys. You really can't show people what this headset can do until they put it on. And again, you can talk about it all you want, but even myself, who's owned this for almost 2 years now, I still get blown away.
Another bat.
Oh, thank you for that.
I got him.
I totally pulled back at the last second.
I got it.
Finally, the highly anticipated 4-player multiplayer patch has arrived in Ancient Dungeon VR, and it's 25% off. But if you're a PlayStation Plus member, you save 5% more, making it 30% off total. Over 600 people rated it 4.71 out of 5 stars, with 93% of the audience giving this 4 or 5 out of 5. And since the latest update, there's now a few more relics, milestones, and journal pages, along with 2 new alternate dungeon floors to explore. And finally, just recently, I was able to play this for the first time ever and discover it with my wife, and would love to totally show you our experience in the video shown here. I'll leave a link in the description if you're interested. And just to speak to this, we've only passed the first floor so far and have spent at least 3 to 4 hours playing total. I can already highly recommend this at full price, and can see this appealing to pretty much everybody, as I've heard about this game for so long now and can only appreciate its awesomeness once inside the game, which is just incredibly immersive, honestly. And this is a procedurally generated underground labyrinth with no way back and only one way to escape. Fight through hordes of different enemies with a variety of upgradable weapons, and improvise using the rich physics-based combat to survive. Right on. No 2 dungeons are the same, which means each run is different from the last. Collect and uncover over 100 different upgrades, such as companion wisps, to game changers like exploding throwing knives. Experiment with upgrade combinations to gain unique advantages. Use the environment to gain the upper hand as you battle an array of deadly creatures. Encounter wights, slimes, skeletons, wisps, flying skulls, champion enemies, and more in thrilling melee and ranged combat. Discover the true history of the ancient dungeon. Search for long-lost writings and historical records, and reveal hidden secrets throughout deep environmental storytelling.
Stauf knows too much, but how?
Experience one of the best murder mystery video games ever created in The Seventh Guest VR, and it's 50% off. 860 people have rated this 4.67 out of 5 stars, with 93% of the audience giving this 4 or 5 out of 5. The classic game that chilled you to the bone in the 90s has been brought back with cutting-edge VR technology that delivers an atmospheric story like no other. As you explore the eerie mansion, the puzzles become increasingly challenging. Unlock new rooms and uncover hidden secrets, all while trying to keep your wits about you against the eerie horrors. The Seventh Guest VR is the ultimate adventure for fans of mystery puzzle games and those seeking a new and terrifying VR experience. I never played the game back in the 90s on the PC CD-ROM, but I am excited to let you know, if you're into the environmental puzzle-based games where you're just thrown into the game and have to figure things out, then you will absolutely love this game. And unlike so many puzzle games I played before, this immediately felt completely unique and stumped me pretty hard right from the get-go, but not too challenging to keep me away. The theme, the music, sound effects, character development, and acting are superbly done here. The only negative that I've experienced and stands out to me is that there is no option to decouple your head from your body, which means your head turns your body, and that isn't ideal for room scale VR. But don't get me wrong, this isn't game breaking at all for a game like this. I love how I'm thrown into this beautiful mansion with nothing but a lantern. And what's really cool is that when you use that lantern to illuminate an area, it actually shows you what that spot looked like in the past when those guests were actually there. So cool to see that everywhere, seriously. Again, even though I've only put in a couple of hours into this so far, the very first room with the very first puzzle was just awesome. Don't worry though, you can refer to your map for help, and you can also choose to get a hint as to how to solve the puzzle if it gets too frustrating. Thankfully, it doesn't happen automatically, as I do hate puzzle spoilers, and you do have the option to access that in your menu. So far, so great. Get ready to feel a symphony of bullets as your body moves to the rhythm and you blast your way to the beat in this award-winning action rhythm game in Pistol Whip, and it's 40% off. That said, if you're a PlayStation Premium member, this game is already in your catalog, so do not buy this game. Over 2,400 people have rated it 4.64 out of 5 stars, with 93% of the audience giving this 4 or 5 out of 5. And I can understand why, because this is instant pick up and play action where you simply shoot and hit your targets to the beat to get the highest score on the leaderboards, all while trying to survive as you progress forward, ducking, dodging, and weaving every deadly encounter. And if you get injured, simply wait to pistol whip an enemy whenever they appear in front of you to get the upper hand and gain some health to keep you in the game, hopefully until the end of that song. And what an incredible difference the PSVR2 makes, as you can see all the bells and whistles right here. Then on top of this, they keep including all of this new DLC for free. There's so much content for this game, it's crazy. I'm recommending this game having not played it now for over a year. When I briefly touched it, and I was just playing around for 2 songs showing you a little bit of room scale, but you know, again, loving it immediately. The last DLC that they came out with, I think is called Void Slayer. And again, what you're seeing on screen totally transforms the entire look of the game completely, and every other add-on they've had in the past does the same thing. So cool, so kick-ass. It claims to have endless ways to play where you tackle over 35 unique scenes. This is literally a dance floor fever dream where you fall into vivid fantasias, shimmering nightmares, and skylines that pulse with the beat, then blast your way back out. Become the demon in Metal Hellsinger VR, and it's 45% off right now. But if you're a PlayStation Plus member, you save 5% more, making it 50% off total. Over 200 people have rated it 4.43 out of 5 stars, with 88% of the audience giving this 4 or 5 out of 5. Step into the half-demon body of the unknown and feel the pulse of metal rage through you. Quite simply, shoot to the beat to make the music unfold and your power grow. See the world around you pulsate to the rhythm and be unburdened by a traditional interface. This totally reminds me of Pistol Whip, but unlike Pistol Whip, where you're moving forward at all times, it looks like you're moving around in a full 3D environment here, like a giant arena. And of course, unlike Pistol Whip, where it's more the electronic dance genre, this is all about the death metal, man. The multi-award-winning original soundtrack composer duo, Two Feathers, have created a thunderous original score with vocals by metal icons such as System of a Down, Lamb of God, Arch Enemy, and much more. And as you can see from the list of awards and nominations here, these guys nailed the audio in the music in the gameplay. Amazing. Seriously, I'm gonna have to grab this game as soon as I can. And now that the game's been out for a little while, it does have some DLC that you can grab, and they're all on sale right now. The first one being Metal Hellsinger VR Purgatory. It's normally 20% off, but if you're a PlayStation Plus member, you can save 5% more, making it 25% off total. And that Purgatory DLC contains 3 new songs that I'm showing you right here if you want to pause and take a look, as well as characters, new weapons, and new cosmetic skins. And the second DLC they're offering is called Metal Hellsinger VR Essential Hits Pack, and it's 20% off. But if you're a PlayStation Plus member, you save 5% more, making it 25% off total. In this Essentials pack, you're seeing a plethora of old school songs that totally took me down memory lane here, and some of them including Gorillaz, Feel Good Inc., and Muse Uprising. And that's what took me by surprise here. You know, some of these songs totally do not fit the death metal genre, but when I'd seen the actual trailer for this game, I was like, wow, that looks like a lot of fun for sure. And the last one they're offering is called Metal Hellsinger VR Dream of the Beast, and it's 20% off. But if you're a PlayStation Plus member, you save 5% more, making it 25% off total. And with this pack, you are getting 2 new songs that I'm showing you right here if you want to pause and take a look, as well as a brand new weapon and 3 outfits with passive effects. Very cool. You know, with all of those awards and nominations, and with that epic campaign, and just knowing that this game is literally Pistol Whip, but totally reinvented in full 3D with that death metal genre. And if all of the content interests you, you can now get the complete edition at 35% off. But if you're a PlayStation Plus member, you save 5% more, making it 40% off total.
We are excited to inform you that you did an adequate enough job the first time around to have you back.
The cult classic horror game returns in the jump scare sequel, Five Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted 2, and it's 55% off. Over 3,100 people have rated it 4.51 out of 5 stars, with 87% of the audience giving this 4 or 5 out of 5. That said, if you're a PlayStation Plus Extra, Premium, or Deluxe member, do not buy this game, as it's already a part of your catalog. And of course, this is the sequel to the terrifying VR experience that brought new life to the iconic horror franchise. As a brand new Fazbear employee, you'll have to prove you have what it takes to excel in all aspects of pizzeria management and maintenance. Interesting. Go backstage as a VIP to help Roxanne Wolf and the STAFF staff bots get ready for their performances in the Pizzaplex. Head into the Fazcade and enjoy classic games like Bonkabon. Take care of things behind the scenes in the staff-only section of the pizzeria. Deliver first aid to patients who aren't quite feeling themselves, and help animatronics perform routine diagnostics and maintenance. Experience all the joys of high-speed food service and get ready to feed some hungry bots. Weird. Head over to the ticket booth to test our e-ticket attractions, such as Captain Foxy's Cowboy Adventure. And finally, if you're short on dread, dive into the world of our sister location. These special minigames are VR versions of classic experiences from Five Nights at Freddy's sister location. These fan favorites brought to life promise to be as fun as they are terrifying. So again, I've never played Five Nights at Freddy's. I have no attachment to that whatsoever. I have no idea what they're talking about, to be honest with you. So any of you out there who do love Five Nights, can you recommend this game at the sale price? I'm assuming with that amount of people rating the game, this is a must-have. Experience the cult classic horror like never before on the PSVR2 in Five Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted Full-Time Edition, and it's 60% off. Over 14,000 people have rated it 4.58 out of 5 stars, with 89% of the audience giving this 4 or 5 out of 5. That said, if you're a PlayStation Plus Extra, Premium, or Deluxe member, this game is now a part of your catalog. And I did actually buy this on the PSVR 1. You can pay a small upgrade fee instead of paying the sale price here. And I think all it was that I was part of a security staff in this booth looking at these monitors, playing with some controls, and then these animatronics appearing on some of the screens, and then they jump scare you from the side. You know, I just got within a few minutes of it, and I wasn't feeling it, just being honest, right in the beginning after playing so many awesome PSVR 1 games. I had no idea that game, you know, took the franchise to the next level, and then they're making millions of dollars on all this merchandise. So I do know there's a huge cult following behind this game. I personally am not one to speak to it because I didn't give it any time. But for those of you that did love it, again, they did include in this PSVR 2 version, this is the DLC called Curse of Dreadbear, exclusively for the PS5 and PSVR 2. This new edition includes all content from the original Help Wanted plus the Halloween DLC Curse of Dreadbear. And this says it gives you over 50 scary fun minigames in one terrifying package. And of course, you can play the game in VR or non-VR mode. I don't know why you would play this on flat screen after having the VR experience, but they do give the option there if you want to. And yet another absolute must-have for every PSVR 2 owner, Resident Evil Village is currently 75% off. Over 40,000 people have rated it 4.67 out of 5 stars, with 92% of the audience giving this 4 or 5 out of 5. And just like Resident Evil 4, the game doesn't have that VR mode built into it, so you do have to find Resident Evil Village on the PlayStation Store, go all the way down until you see add-ons. You're going to see the free VR mode there, click that, download it, install it. Otherwise it goes to a large cinematic screen and you're using your DualSense controller. It's in 2D mode, so you do need that VR mode literally downloaded, installed before before you load the game to actually experience this in awesome full VR. And what's cool is that this standard edition is all you need to play this AAA PSVR2 exclusive in that full VR mode, and it's what I highly recommend for everyone to have in their library. Whether you're into the horror genre or not, and trust me, I am not whatsoever, this game is an excellent showcase of how the PSVR2 can transform an already incredible game and shoot it straight into the next generation. Seriously, you're now inside the beautiful world at life size with no compromise. If anything, you have only more ways to unleash your actual abilities, such as dual wielding weapons while running in room scale VR, blocking incoming attacks, manually reloading during intense combat, and then opening your trench coat to use your flashlight. Awesome. And again, just to reiterate, you do not need anything else but this standard edition to enjoy that full VR awesomeness. However, there are some extra DLC items that you can get on sale, but only some of them work in VR, and I'm going to go over really quick what works and what doesn't work in VR. Now, the one thing that is available for you to use in VR, this is the Survival Resources Pack, and it's 25% off. With that, you are getting some handgun ammo, shotgun ammo, a first aid med pack, and a lockpick. And the other item that you can use in VR, this is the Mr. Raccoon weapon charm, and it's 25% off, and this is simply just an aesthetic charm that hangs off of two shotguns, the M1897 and the W870 TAC shotgun. I think that's how you pronounce them. Next, we have a weird one. This is the Extra Shop All Access voucher, and it's 60% off. That said, this is not available in VR. I have no idea why. I've not used any of the actual DLC in either of the Resident Evil games here. And on the PlayStation Store description, it just says that it unlocks all rewards in the extra content shop. But again, this does not work in VR, just saying. Next, we do have a bundle of items that do have a few things that will work in VR. This is the Trauma Pack, and it's 25% off. And with that, it does include the Samurai Edge AW Model 01, and that is available in VR, as well as the Resident Evil 7 Found Footage Filter, and that is not available in VR, as that's for the flat screen experience only. You're getting the Resident Evil 7 tape recorder save point. Unfortunately, that is not in VR. You're getting Safe Room Music Go Tell Aunt Rhody, that is in VR, as well as the Mr. Everywhere weapon charm, that is in VR as well. And with this Trauma Pack, you'll immediately unlock the Village of Shadows difficulty. And I do not know whether or not that Village of Shadows difficulty is available in VR. Anybody in the comments section, if you've played this, please let us know whether or not we can do this in VR. If not, I'm gonna have to check it out sooner than later and let everybody know. You're also getting the Tragedy of Ethan Winters artwork and the Baker Incident Report, which are not available in VR. But the most important DLC for all the hardcore Resident Evil fans, this is the Winter's Expansion, and it's 50% off, and there are 3 main modes to this game, and they're not available in VR, unfortunately. The first one is the ability to play the game in third-person mode. This is the classic Resident Evil 4, where you're seeing yourself in third person, but man, I gotta say, if you're a huge fan of the Resident Evil series, you probably will want to check this out. As well, this includes the Mercenaries Additional Orders, and just like the Resident Evil 4, this is a separate minigame where it's all about your skills in these time-based challenges. But unlike Resident Evil 4, this one includes 3 new characters, including the towering Lady Dimitrescu, as well as Heisenberg from what I'm seeing here in the trailer. I do not know that third one. Anyone in the comments section, if you want to let us know, that'd be great. But the most significant part of this DLC is called Shadows of Rose, and this is a new scenario starring the grown-up Rose, Ethan's beloved daughter, who was kidnapped as a baby that kicked off the original Village story. And just showing you real quick the rating that this actual DLC received, I am assuming that is the Shadows of Rose DLC, that is that extra storyline plot. I do wish that was in VR, like Daughters on Resident Evil 7. Don't know why they didn't do that. That would have been really cool to play. And if you did get the Winter's Expansion, you may be interested to know that you can also get the Street Wolf outfit for Rose, and that's 25% off, but that said, it can only be used in that Winter's Expansion DLC, as it gives Rose a tougher look as she takes on enemies with this jacket, which features the logo of Chris Redfield's Hound Wolf Squad on the back. Interesting. And speaking of which, the next DLC is again not in VR, but I didn't even know this existed until I did these sales videos. In the base game, you do get for free Resident Evil Reverse. This is an online multiplayer game that you play against your friends where you're fighting each other as teams, then whoever dies, they spawn into these monsters and now they're attacking you. I've never played before, again, not in VR, will never play this. It even says in the description that the online service does not last forever, and at any time this game could go offline, so heads up. And for those of you that are still unsure whether or not Resident Evil Village VR is for you, you can check out the Resident Evil Village VR gameplay demo on the PlayStation Store for free right now. And the other two must-have Resident Evil games are currently bundled together. Resident Evil 7 Gold Edition and Village Gold Edition are 75% off. And that is including Resident Evil 7 Biohazard Gold Edition, all of the DLC that was included. Even though you cannot play any of this stuff on your PSVR2, there is a rumor going around that this is going to be remastered for the PSVR2. I can't confirm that for sure, but if you don't already own the game, this might be the time to actually get it. And unlike Resident Evil 4 and 8, Resident Evil 7 had most of the DLC available in VR, and they were excellent. I remember playing all of it. It was so amazing. Daughters was my absolute favorite, giving you the origin story of how Eve actually arrived at the Baker family. This bundle also features Resident Evil Village Gold Edition, which does include many extras such as the Trauma Pack, Winter's Expansion, and Resident Evil Reverse, which I go over in great detail in the last chapter there if you missed it, because the DLC for Village is also on sale. But I do have to say that I only recommend getting the Standard Edition, which is also on sale right now, and it's all you need to play the incredibly awesome VR mode. And just like Resident Evil 4, the game does not have that VR mode built in, so you do need to go to the PlayStation Store, find Resident Evil Village, go all the way down till you see add-ons, click that VR mode, install it, then load the game up and you're ready to go. I personally think all the Resident Evil should be in your library if you own the PSVR2, and I've never played anything Resident Evil up until the PSVR 1.
Here we go.
But the next horror game is a must-have for the PSVR 2, and I'm talking about Resident Evil 4 Gold Edition at 40% off currently. And just to speak to how popular Resident Evil 4 is, over 102,000 people have rated the game 4.75 out of 5 stars, with 93% giving this 4 or 5 out of 5. Incredible. And when you do go to buy this game, I do have to say this because a lot of you didn't know that you do not have the VR mode built into the game right away. So when you go to Resident Evil 4 on the PlayStation Store, just go down all the way to the bottom where you see add-ons, and you're going to see the Resident Evil 4 VR mode there. Click that, download it, install it, then load your game. That way you can play in VR and use your PSVR2 Sense controllers. Otherwise, it defaults you to the large-ass cinematic screen and you're using your DualSense controller, and a lot of people didn't know that. That's not the VR mode. That said, when you do go to play this in the VR mode and you did just grab this Gold Edition, there are a lot of DLC extras here that you cannot use in VR. And the first one being the most important here, this is called Separate Ways. This is a side story with Ada Wong. Over 830 people have rated it 4.8 out of 5 stars, with 93% giving this 4 or 5 out of 5. Before any US agent had even set foot in the Cursed Village, she was there. Her mission? The retrieval of the cult's darkest secret, the Amber. Separate Ways, the missing link in the main story, is a thrilling survival horror adventure starring Ada Wong. See the other side of the story from her eyes as her mission and fate intertwines with Leon Kennedy's a second time. And the other thing that's included with the base game, not in the Gold Edition, it doesn't come with it obviously, but in the base game you do get Resident Evil 4 The Mercenaries. Over 460 people rated it 4.54 out of 5 stars, with 85% of the audience giving this 4 or 5 out of 5. And this game mode is all about racing against the clock and battling your way to the top of the leaderboards. Even though those two game modes are not in VR, I do feel compelled to tell everybody, because if you are getting these Gold Editions, you need to know exactly what you're getting here. And speaking of which, the next big one is the Resident Evil 4 Extra DLC Pack. This one comes with a slew of items here, and I'm going to go over each one so you know what works in VR and what doesn't. The first one here is Leon's sunglasses, and I thought they were just an aesthetic where you see it on the actual person in game, but no, it actually does affect gameplay. I did not know this, so props to Percy for letting us know that. In Resident Evil 4, the sunglasses make you immune to flashbangs. I never would have thought of that. And in the PlayStation Store description, you can see here, it talks about protecting your baby blues from the sun and other pesky monsters with these sunglasses. It could help you with other things that I'm totally unaware of. Again, anyone in the comments section, please pipe in, let me know if I'm missing anything. That'd be awesome. And in order to actually put these sunglasses on, you do go to the pause menu in the extra section there. That's where you can actually change up your stuff. And it does say right here that the sunglasses can be used in both the main game and the Separate Ways DLC. But remember, the Separate Ways DLC is not in VR. And the next thing you're getting here is the Sentinel 9. I love using pistols. I didn't look at the actual description before, and it says it's a fully customized handgun for tackling bioterrorism. You know, that means nothing to me other than it boasts both accuracy and versatility, making it the reliable choice. Anyone in the comment section, if you can speak to this, do you feel an actual gameplay gameplay difference by using this pistol over the default one we have in the game here. And in order to access this, it says deluxe weapons can be claimed from the storage menu at the typewriter, the save point there. But unlike the sunglasses, this can be used in the main game, but not the Separate Ways DLC. And just like the pistol, same idea here, you're getting another version of the shotgun called the Skull Shaker. And quite simply, it does say it's a sawed-off stock and barrel, so you are allowing for excellent maneuverability and handling. Again, anyone in the comment section, if you've been playing with both shotguns, can you let us know whether or not that's actually a gameplay difference? And same idea here again, all deluxe weapons you do have to claim at the typewriter, but this can only be used in the main game and not the Separate Ways DLC. And when it comes to the costumes, you're getting a casual set for both Leon and Ashley, but unlike the pistol and the shotgun, you can use the costumes in the main game and the Separate Ways DLC. And all you have to do to access that, you just hit the pause button and go into the extras menu and you'll see all your costumes in there. And the next one that you're getting here is the romantic set for both Leon and Ashley. Same idea, just go in the extras, change it up. Of course, all costumes can be used in both the main game and the Separate Ways DLC, but this costume and filter, the costume can be used, again, just like the other ones, in the main game and the Separate Ways, but the filter is not VR compatible. When it comes to the filter, that's a 2D flat screen experience, and what you're seeing here, this is an actual image of the before and after. So personally, when I'm seeing this, it looks really washed out. I'd rather just the original look altogether. And the next costume and filter they're offering, same idea, you can only use the costume. Again, you're getting the villain version, which quickly showing you here, this is the actual filter, and I feel like it looks kind of red and orangey. It doesn't look as good as the original version, so I'm not too sure. Maybe I'm not seeing it on my screen, but yeah, I can't recommend any of this stuff, to be honest with you. But the one thing that does sound really cool to me is the original soundtrack swap. I did not play this game back in the day in 2004 or whenever it was on the PS2, I can't remember. But for those of you that have and have this nostalgic attachment to it, it's so cool that you can just go into your extras menu and then switch that to the original soundtrack, and I believe all of the action sounds, like the guns and sound effects and everything, so that's really neat. But that said, you can only use this in the main game for Resident Evil 4. It does not work in the Separate Ways DLC. You're also getting a treasure map expansion, which the game does include a treasure map to begin with. This simply just adds more treasures to the existing map and some additional treasures that weren't in the game to begin with. And you can simply confirm that by looking at your original map once you've installed this stuff. And this expansion only works for the main game of Resident Evil 4, not for the Separate Ways DLC. However, you can use the items that you've accumulated in the main game from the treasure map and bring them over to Separate Ways. So that's cool. But yeah, that's what they're saying here in the official PlayStation Store description. And for those of you that are still on the fence as to whether or not this game is for you, I highly recommend that you get the gameplay demo on the PlayStation Store right now. Swing through towering skyscrapers, battle deadly enemies, and fight to free Concord from the grip of oppression in Resist. And it's 20% off. But if you're a PlayStation Plus member, you save 5% more, making it 25% off total. Almost 140 people have rated it 4.69 out of 5 stars, with 93% of the audience giving it 4 or 5 out of 5. Nice. Explore the vast city of Concord while uncovering its secrets. Resist delivers a high-speed, story-driven open-world experience packed with kinetic swinging, intense combat, and deep RPG mechanics. Master fluid movement and take down enemies with skill as you level up and customize your abilities to refine your playstyle. You can even compete in skill challenges and prove your prowess with the online leaderboards. And what's really cool is that the game claims the PSVR2 version features ultra-smooth, seamless gameplay with 90Hz performance, has more immersive visuals with realistic reflections and shaders, along with full headset and sense haptics, coupled with the adaptive triggers and that beautiful OLED HDR display, make this the ultimate version to play. This sounds absolutely awesome, and I've only heard great things about it. Anyone who owns it, plays it, loves it, or hates it, please let us know in the comments if we should grab this at that sale price. And yet another surprise hit, Rainbow Reactor Fusion rewards your basketball skills in this extremely addictive color matching game, and it's 65% off. But if you're a PlayStation Plus member, you save 5% more, making it 70% off total. Over 120 people have rated it 4.52 out of 5 stars, with 90% of the audience giving this 4 or 5 out of 5. And I can totally understand why, because this game is completely polished and pick up and play awesomeness. I knew this was a remastered version, but I never played the original, so my expectations were kind of low, but wow.
That looks realistic. It really does.
I couldn't believe how good this looked in that massive factory setting, giving that awesome sense of scale. Truly, guys. This is instant pick up and play where you're just thrown into this beautiful factory and you're supposed to clean it up essentially in between playing these basketball-oriented color matching games. One rail on each side, the right and the left, a ball comes down and you have to grab it before it drops to the floor. You've got 3 misses. If a ball hits the ground, one of those misses happens. So that's how you lose essentially. Or if one of the balls goes out of bounds, and that can be from throwing it out of bounds, or if the court or the grid is essentially full of these balls all over the place and your ball bounces off one of them, that can go out of bounds there. So you are trying to keep that grid as clean as possible, getting as many combos as possible, but also setting up the colored combos. Again, super simple stuff. All these color matching games have been around forever, but not in the VR medium this way. Again, shooting basketballs into this area is so satisfying.
I'm going to show you guys just in my headset. That is incredible.
What I absolutely loved is they didn't spend too much time on this factory stuff, just enough to get you to walk around and, you know, feel like you're in a factory doing the jobs, but it's all about the basketball. And I say that literally, that's exactly what it feels like to me. And I have to say, I'm really proud of myself. I just recently beat the story mode, all 9 levels. And I gotta say, the challenge in this game has a perfect difficulty curve. And after you play that story mode, I started playing the arcade mode. And that has its own unique set of objectives and things to do. It's so neat, guys. And I do want to tell everybody, highly recommend that you play this like basketball. So when you're holding your controller over your head like this, and then you go to flick, and just like basketball, the more that you push off, the farther the ball will go. The less power you put in, the shorter distance, it just lobs forward. Feels so good. I did find having my wrist this way, vertically forward, like naturally facing forward like you would hold the controller, was bang on. So yes, I do recommend right away just practicing forward like this, and you'll see how precise, how rewarding hitting those spots that you're trying to hit. Getting those combos, it's just exhilarating, honestly. So it feels like a mix match of like 3-point competition where these balls are just rolling towards you on the left and the right side on those racks. And then near the end of level 9, man, you're just like in this flow where you're just taking the ball and you're firing one after the other. It was insanely, incredibly hard, but so much fun. It actually took me many tries to get through that last level. With the PSVR2 room scale perfect tracking, I gotta say, the dream has come true. And this is a testament of how transformative sports titles will be in VR. No joke. This makes exercise fun again, and I highly recommend you get this game, especially at that awesome sale price. Space Docker VR is a hardcore flight simulator, and it's 60% off right now. But if you're a PlayStation Plus member, you save 10% more, making it 70% off total. Over 200 people have rated it 4.58 out of 5 stars, with 92% of the audience giving this 4 or 5 out of 5. And I have to say it right away, this game actually supports the HOTAS. I have 2 of them, the hands-on throttle and stick. You can use your actual PlayStation VR2 Sense controllers, of course. I'm sure the haptics are awesome on it, but having a tactile throttle and stick in any VR game, I feel, has been so immersive. The game does have to take into your skill factor the precision of docking and getting through these levels. And don't forget, there's no drag in space. Physics means that docking becomes a skillful task as you learn to master your momentum. This does feature a career mode, authored missions with unique twists to train and test your docking abilities. You'll have random jobs content, weekly missions, as well as on-demand procedural work orders. Right on. There's a race mode, pushing your flying skills to the max, and I gotta say, I'll be checking that out right away. Customizable virtual cockpit controls, very cool. And that's where you would lose that whole sense of virtual interaction with your cockpit if you are using that HOTAS, the hands-on throttle and stick. And you do have this ongoing global leaderboard that you can compete with your friends online. Unlock flare and upgrades for your cockpits. Again, I've never played the game, so I don't know how that all goes down, but the premise of the game seemed super simple about docking abilities. And just based on those ratings and everything I'm reading online, how addictive the game is, it's just really weird to say that, because again, the theme just doesn't sound awesome, but the people are playing it, it's saying it is. Anyone in the comment section, if you do own the game, you played it, please let us know whether or not this game is worth picking up at that sale price.
Looking for a cozy, creative VR adventure? Hop on board.
Now's the time to get all aboard with the coolest, most chill single-player board game puzzle experience in Toy Trains, and it's currently 80% off right now. Over 250 people have rated it 4.5 out of 5 stars, with 88% of the audience giving this 4 or 5 out of 5, and me giving it a 5 for sure, hands down, especially after that infinite loop update. And quickly, just speaking to this, I have to say, I did not buy this game. This was sent to me by the developers, and again, I expected nothing going into it because I did not have a Toy Train set growing up, and I had no interest whatsoever in playing like this sandbox mode, but I just didn't understand the game was actually designed designed as a puzzle game to begin with, which is amazing. This is another pick up and play experience. Quite literally, you can just pop the game in and it walks you through step by step how to do each stage properly. And what I mean is, the premise of the game is extremely simple. Quite literally, you just have a construction site in the middle of the board, and then you have a couple houses sitting there to begin with. All you have to do is make a railroad track literally connecting that house to the construction site. Or if you have multiple houses, you can have one railroad track connecting to both houses and the construction site, doing a complete loop. Or you can choose to do one track per house, meaning that you just have one track connected to that one house and that construction site with like multiple tracks going on at once. That's the beauty of this game. You literally can solve the puzzle the way that you want it with no time limit whatsoever. Even the pieces that you're given, it legit looks like a game manual. You're holding it out of the box and you can see what pieces they offer. Again, in the beginning, they're just giving you like a corner piece in a straight line. And as the stages progress, you get more and more pieces to use, to the point that you're about maybe halfway through the game, if not a little farther, and you have all the pieces to use. But again, each stage, they show you how to use a specific piece, like a slope or a tunnel or a bridge, in that one stage. And I do have to say this, had I reviewed this game before the Infinite Loop update, I would have been disappointed because it just picked up at level 9 out of 10. Right at the end of the game, I'm like, oh, okay, these are challenging courses now, if not just the last one. With this Infinite Loop update, they did include a plethora of new challenging puzzles, and I gotta say, that's where the game's at. But the sandbox mode is advertised in this new update. That is not at all appealing to me. I mean, I just touched it for a second. I didn't care for it. It's the puzzles, and they're so good, so good. So I do feel like anybody that's bought this game in the past, if you have not revisited this since the Infinite Loop update, it is a completely new game. It's 10 times better, honestly. So really cool that the developers added all this extra content for free, because it really made the game for me. Every challenge in that update was better than any of the challenges in the original game. So cool and so therapeutic. You know, that's what I want to say. This game is therapy. At the end of the day, just chill out. Even standing or sitting, it doesn't matter. Tetris Effect Connected is the coolest version of the most iconic game, and it's 50% off. But if you're a PlayStation Plus member, you save 5% more, making it 55% off total. Over 7,000 people have rated it 4.58 out of 5 stars, with 90% of the audience giving this 4 or 5 out of 5. And I gotta say, you know, I grew up with the Tetris for sure. I do think this is the best version by far. Love the VR medium, love the effects, but it's the way that the actual game adapts to every rotation, every movement you do. It actually has that sound effect connect with you in game. It's like you're actually integrated into it. It's really hard to describe that to you. But unlike the PSVR 1 that I did play and I thought it was good, the particle effects were not that great on PSVR 1. In this game, everything shines so brilliant, so colorful, so vibrant, so smooth. And I have to hammer this in. All of you out there, like me, who are playing PSVR 2 and you gotta wait for your DualSense controllers to charge at like an hour, this is when you put in Tetris and use your DualSense controller and play that way. And before you know it, you've had a few games, all of a sudden your PSVR Sense controllers are charged. So for that alone, just having another PSVR 2 game to play while your controllers are charging, awesome. There's a journey mode, that campaign, that's what I'm doing. It just throws you into an area and then you start playing. It's really interesting. And the connected part, they have this online multiplayer mode with up to 4 other people or 3 other people at the same time. I have not played it before, but if it's anything like the original Game Boy, where you deplete one of your lines and it goes on to somebody else's screen, that sounds awesome to me. Again, I do highly recommend, if you have this on PSVR 1, just pay that upgrade fee instead of buying it again. Much cheaper, and it is totally worth it. From the PlayStation 2 to the PlayStation VR 2, Rez Infinite is currently 50% off right now. But if you're a PlayStation Plus member, you save 5% more, making it 55% off total. Over 6,500 people have rated it 4.49 out of 5 stars, with 86% of the audience giving this 4 or 5 out of 5. And to speak to this from experience, I did try this on PSVR 1. I did not play this on PS2, 20 some years ago. However, I was really disappointed on PSVR 1, I gotta say. The first level, it was just like 2 or 3 enemies coming at me, and I was like, okay, I really did not get the addictive factor whatsoever and all the awards that I won. And then I rolled the dice, paid the upgrade path, and I'm so happy that I did, because the game is so much better than the PSVR 1 version. It really is. With the 4K HDR OLED display, this game literally shines. It is gorgeous. Honestly, so cool. Such a trip. And I can't believe this game existed like 20 years ago. Legit, as you're seeing it, but on flat screen. So really bizarre that this actually adapts very well to the VR medium. You can choose to take advantage of the eye tracking technology, where you're just looking and it locks onto the enemies this way. But I highly recommend just using your VR Sense controllers and aiming manually that way. And it was so much fun. So much fun. And unlike the PSVR 1 or the PS2 versions, this one includes an Area X mode. If you love the Rock Band or Guitar Hero, I highly recommend you check out Drums Rock Deluxe Edition because it's 35% off right now. But if you're a PlayStation Plus member, you save 10% more, making it 45% off total. Over 1,300 people have rated it 4.28 out of 5 stars, with 79% of the audience giving this 4 or 5 out of 5. And if you're unsure whether or not the game is for you, definitely check out that Drums Rock free demo right now. And that's what I did, and I was able to get an actual sense of flavor of what the game felt like, and I was totally impressed with the actual haptics on the controllers as well as the headset haptics. I didn't actually check out the eye tracking for the score, didn't play it enough, but yes, this is sit down, pick up and play, instant action. Aside from the arcade aspect, the game actually does feature a full-fledged 4-hour campaign and then fight 2 bosses along the way. Very cool. The game does keep getting all of this love and support, so much DLC going on, and speaking of which, in the Deluxe Edition you are getting the Power Metal Music Pack. Specifically, you're getting Hearts on Fire by Hammerfall, King for a Day by Battle Beast, Blood of the Elves by Blind Guardian, When Angels Kill by Fifth Angel, Higher by Northtail, Twilight Force by Twilight Force. And with the Undertale DLC, in that you're getting Hopes and Dreams, Megalovania. As well, you're getting some other goodies here, such as the Undertale drums, drumsticks, hands, and the exclusive Undertale scene. And what's really cool is getting that as well unlocks this extra difficulty mode for all songs going forward. So I do feel that is one of the most necessary DLCs to get for Drums Rock. And you're also getting the latest Smash Fest music pack, which includes Silver Tongue by Alter Bridge, Army of the Night by Powerwolf, Pisces by Ginger, Keelhauled by Ailstorm, Puts Force by Gloryhammer, While Love Died by Northward, Stardust by Delane, Dost Elft Gadot, I'm sorry for butchering that, somebody I cannot pronounce, Master of the Universe by Angus Mix6. That ought to keep you busy for a while, I would think. And if you're still unsure whether or not this game is for you, you should totally check out the Drums Rock demo on the PlayStation Store itself. Crossfire Sierra Squad is a hugely popular single-player campaign with multiplayer squad-based missions, and it's currently 40% off right now. Over 2,100 people have rated it 4 out of 5 stars, with 74% giving this 4 or 5 out of 5, but 10% did give this 1 star. And I can speak to this really quick. The launch of the game did have a ton of bugs. Then a month or two later, they totally rectified everything. And then another month later, they actually add another massive patch that fixed all the introduction levels. After a few updates now of the game since launch, I can recommend it at that price. And unlike all the other first-person shooters that focus on the online competitive multiplayer, this is about the single-player campaign and the squad-based co-op missions. So cool. And it does include 39 types of weapons featuring pistols, rifles, throwable and throw-backable grenades and sniper rifles with revolutionary scope mechanics, giving you plenty of options to dispatch 17 types of enemies. And in classic arcade fashion, you'll engage with heavy artillery like helicopters and LAVs. The one thing I highly recommend, because I did play the game all the way through on the default, which was arcade, I did not like it. You need to play realism mode. I'm showing you right now when you buy the game, just change that to realism. And with that, you're going to actually take your enemies down with 1 or 2 bullets. That said, you will also go down in 1 or 2 hits. So it totally encourages you to take cover at all times, which I absolutely love playing in full room scale VR. Playing that way feels the way that I wanted the game to begin with. So I ended up playing it all the way through, unfortunately, arcade. Thankfully, letting you guys know, go the realism route right away. Highly recommend that. And then there are 50 squad missions for single player or 2-player co-op. And of course, they have this 4-player horde mode co-op, which I've never played before. So the replayability, the amount of content is absolutely there. So yeah, really cool that we have that option to play a first-person shooter campaign-based game. And the other most amazing multiplayer game everyone else needs to get, this is After the Fall Complete Edition, and it's 65% off right now. Over 1,200 people have rated it 3.96 out of 5 stars, with 73% of the audience giving it 4 or 5 out of 5. And all that Complete Edition is, it's the PSVR1 game revamped with 3 DLC that was released for it.
Let's go.
That said, I did just play this expecting to play it for maybe half an hour, thinking this is a PSVR1 game, it's going to be revamped, it's going to be okay, I'll get bored with it within half an hour. And no man, right when loading the game, I was taken back knowing this is a PSVR1 game, but they did just upgrade the whole thing, and it does look like a hybrid of PSVR1 and PSVR2 graphics. Like, it's got that clarity with this dynamic lighting and all these particle effects, and it looks really good. I mean, like, really good. If you didn't know, this game actually does have a free upgrade, so if you did buy this back in the day, man, you are going to want to pop this in and play this again for sure. Unlike the PSVR 1, this does include the PSVR2 Sense haptics. You do feel that difference. Even when I'm rolling over an icon to selecting an object, you know, I do feel that special haptic sensation. The adaptive triggers immediately noticeable, even with the guns to using a light gun on an arcade display cabinet there. The headset haptics, you know, were immediately evident when I got hit in the head. The touch sensitivity was there right when I loaded the game. I could see all my fingers curling. The only one that didn't was the actual trigger finger. That's it. But I mean, come on.
That snow slush actually looks really good. It has depth, has transparency, and it has that three-dimensional effect to it. Like, it looks like frozen water that's just about to become a puddle of water.
And as I'm sitting there getting a feel for the lobby, I'm hearing the music and I'm like, wow, this reminds me of Stranger Things. And then it dawns on me that this tech all around me is from the 80s. What a wicked aesthetic to everything. And then the soundtrack. So it is like the apocalypse happened in the late 80s or early 90s. And all that tech is still remaining there as you're exploring everything. Again, what I didn't expect is they throw you into the game and then I'm walking around and I realized, oh, wait a sec, I'm in a giant lobby of people. They're walking around with me in this like giant arcade. I totally dig how they incorporated the lobby within the game instead of me feeling like I'm jumping into a multiplayer mode. You know, the game just has me in the lobby, but it doesn't feel like a lobby, if that makes sense. Again, what I didn't expect is, aside from the fun factor of playing the game, I got to play with 3 AI friends. I didn't want to jump in with anybody because I didn't want to screw with their game. Got a feel for everything, and the run itself, just what they call a harvest run. You're going out and you're trying to defeat as many zombies as possible, get as many points by defeating them. You see these little glowing orbs, roll over, just simply walk over it, collect it. After you've done a section of the game, you get to a safe house where you can recharge, use some of that currency you earn to buy boosters or health or whatever, but you're trying to keep as much of that as possible, so when you're done like 3 sections of that run, you return home and then you can upgrade your weapons to either new guns or new add-ons to the guns. And that whole section in that lobby is awesome, where you go in and you adjust your gun. Again, the whole theme, the whole aesthetic really did take me back. I wasn't expecting it to be so well done. And again, I do have to admit, I see this game on sale all the time. This is the best price at 70% off. So knowing this game is really cheap pretty much on the regular, and I'm getting such a top-tiered experience here. But that free upgrade is only available to anyone that purchased this game before the launch of the PSVR 2. So if you do have the disc version on PS4, you can contact Vertigo directly, show them a proof of purchase, and they will honor it and give you that free digital upgrade. But yeah, unfortunately, anyone that did buy this after the launch of the PSVR 2, they will not honor it. It's only for those that did own this before the PSVR 2 launch, just as a heads up.
This is the Beacon Update.
Set out on an epic science fiction adventure like no other in No Man's Sky, and it's 60% off. Over 103,000 people have rated it 3.95 out of 5 stars, with 73% of the audience giving this 4 or 5 out of 5, but 16% did give this 1 star. And it feels like just a month ago they released the Worlds Part 1 update, which completely transformed the entire game yet again. And then not too long after that, they released the other significant update called Worlds Part 2, making this game even bigger and better than ever before. Across the entire universe, they've added billions of new solar systems and trillions of new planets, introducing new biomes and terrains to the already awesome environment without changing what people already loved about the game. The latest update, Beacon, is a massive settlement overhaul where you'll get to discover huge new robotic settlements, with each inhabitant now having their own attributes and abilities. There are also new building types such as bars and fishing ponds, along with firework parties for your citizens. Very cool. You can even become the mayor of multiple settlements, where you'll manage each town and customize its production. Be sure to upgrade your buildings in order to create your perfect settlement, because with great power comes great responsibility. You'll need to hire squadrons to fend off any enemy attacks, and you'll also have to now resolve any disputes within the community as the town mayor. Right on. And that is just scratching the surface of what this offers. Again, this is the latest update. I haven't touched upon all of the major updates that have happened since the beginning of the game. If you've never played No Man's Sky and you've only watched or heard other people talk about this on the PSVR 2, you're going to be blown away. And if you're into sci-fi in any shape whatsoever, Star Trek, all that stuff, this is a dream come true. And if you have friends to play with, oh my, I think you can have up to 16 players play together on consoles and up to 32 players on PC. And speaking of which, in the past, past I've mentioned that this game features cross-play support, but didn't realize that it's still in the beta phase essentially, and it hasn't been polished yet, as one of our awesome community members, Cookin' Beatloaf, has shared their experience with us. Unfortunately, they can't pull their saves together even after linking accounts. Hopefully this gets fixed real soon. That said, in the past I've always promoted people checking out these bargain bins or pawn shops to find a disc version for like $10, but what I didn't realize is that with that disc you cannot game share, meaning that if you have two PSVR2s like I just got, you will not be able to game share. That is again the major benefit of owning a digital library, is that you can game share with another family member in the same household if they have a second PS5. Power up your proton packs and join forces with up to 3 friends across a campaign of gripping ghostly encounters in Ghostbusters: Rise of the Ghost Lord, and it's 67% off! That said, if you're a PlayStation Plus Premium member, the base game is already a part of your catalog, so do not buy this game. With over 800 people rating it 3.74 out of 5 stars, 62% gave this 4 or 5 out of 5, but 12% did give this 1 star. And I have to say this right away, when I've done some digging reading other people's experiences, it is meant to be played with friends. You can play by yourself, but the actual game was designed to have friends help you out and have the experience together. I think it is that social interaction with more the mission-based stuff, so purely cooperative from what I understand, with some competitive aspects. And the more that I read about this game, everyone out there is saying yes, the game is a lot of fun with friends, but it is recommended to get it on sale. So this might be the right price for you. And as you can see right here, there is a ton of DLC already available for the game, so they are supporting it, and they have come out with more and more content, such as the Frozen Empire expansion now, including some of the old characters, which looks really cool. And again, this game is designed to have up to 3 other players across a campaign of gripping ghostly encounters. Revive teammates with a high five, supercharge your squad strength with equipment upgrades, and team up to save the city together. And they also include these other game modes, such as Heist and Seek. Chase down the bank-robbing Polterheist brothers while competing with your teammates for individual riches in this fun and frenetic game mode. Interesting.
In 1987, they were badass. In 2023, nothing has changed.
The iconic action rail shooter from the 80s is back in Operation Wolf Returns First Mission VR, and it's 80% off. Over 230 people have rated it 3.78 out of 5 stars, with 65% of the audience giving this 4 or 5 out of 5. You know, if you're an old school gamer like me, you have no expectations other than shooting everything that comes on screen constantly. That's what I'm seeing here in the trailers. So unless the game's buggy, glitchy, or just not fun, I have no idea. Again, anyone in the comments section, please speak up to this. If you're an old school gamer, you played the arcade games back in the day, is this living up to the old school 80s classic feel? Because if that's doing it justice, then man, you know, I'm totally sold right then and there. The story is, a few months ago, a new criminal organization made its appearance. In addition to trafficking arms and drugs, it was developing a new, super powerful weapon. After discovering several of the bases of the organization, led by the mysterious General Viper, 2 agents are dispatched to learn more about this weapon and free the hostages held in the surrounding camps. And that's all you need for a story, man. Literally classic 80s arcade action. But unlike a Crisis Brigade, where I'm used to being able to stand in my environment and use the virtual environment to take cover, I don't get that sense in this game whatsoever. I think I'm just standing completely open, constantly trying to take people out before I get shot, or shooting projectiles that come at me. Plan your assault or orchestrate your defense as a team through intense close quarters combat in Breachers, and it's 20% off. If you're a PlayStation Premium member, you can check out the game for a full hour to see whether or not it's your flavor, but over 750 people rated it 4.31 out of 5 stars, with 83% giving it 4 or 5 out of 5. And I just gotta let you guys know that you can now feel every blast and bullet beyond the sense and headset haptics, as this game does natively support the incredible bHaptics tack suit and tack sleeves, which would totally take this game to the next level. Unlike a lot of the other first-person shooters, this game strictly focuses on team-based combat, where one team will play as the Enforcers and the other as the Revolters. Your goal as an Enforcer is to eliminate your enemies and disarm their bombs with an EMP, repel and blow up walls, swing through windows, and catch your opponents by surprise with gadgetry like drones, cloaking devices, flashbangs, and breaching foam. Your goal as a Revolter is to prevent your enemies from disarming your bomb by terminating them before they do so. Use door blockers, trip mines, static field emitters, and and proximity sensors to defend your position. To ensure victory, purchase and customize your extensive weaponry to your liking at the start of each round. Every gun, whether it's pistols, SMGs, shotguns, or assault rifles, can be modified with attachments to suit your needs. And they did just release this competitive update months ago, and this completely rewards you for going on daily. Literally, this is all about putting all your time into it. Dead Second is an arcade action cover shooter, and it's currently 35% off. But if you're a PlayStation Plus member, you save 5% more, making it 40% off total. Over 170 people have rated it 4.63 out of 5 stars, with 93% of the audience giving this 4 or 5 out of 5. Awesome. This totally reminds me of Crisis Brigade. However, in this game you remember the CSF Kronos Strike Force, a top secret agency that employs a small time dilation technology called the temporal overdrive. The device is synergized with the adrenal receptors of a CSF's agent's brain, granting them superhuman reflexes. Governments have fallen into disarray. Corporations and private military contractors rule the streets, take on a series of assignments, and make them pay. The Dead Second is a time reaction system. Defeating an enemy momentarily slows time, giving you a chance to dodge incoming enemy fire and acquire your next target. Chaining a quick succession of takedowns boosts your score, time, and accuracy points. Charge your temporal overdrive and dominate your adversaries. Progress through the ranks and unlock additional guns and cosmetics on your way to the top of the leaderboards. Make new friends, go fishing, and chill with a frog in a cozy anime-inspired universe in Sushi Ben. And it's 25% off. But if you're a PlayStation Plus member, you save 5% more, making it 30% off total. Over 150 people rated it 4.72 out of 5 stars, with 95% of the audience giving this 4 or 5 out of 5. Awesome. And because again I have no attachment to the anime, the characters whatsoever, the PlayStation Store says, save the sushi bar from the greedy land developers in this wild narrative adventure. Meet the squad of Kotobuki Town and dive into a bunch of epic activities while you get to know them. Earn their trust by doing cool tasks, and they'll be down to join you for some sushi back at the local sushi joint. Revamp your vibe in a retro town. Link up with new buddies, go fishing, and chill with a frog in a cozy anime-inspired universe. Very weird. And on top of all that, you are going to fish, catch bugs, walk dogs, maybe even some ghosts. It also includes immersive 3D manga panels. Kick back in a serene Japanese town while vibing to some smooth guitar tunes. And hear your favorite characters come to life with some famous voices. And you can customize your look as well as how you move. Interesting. And that is really what it's saying on the PlayStation Store description. Anybody in the comments section that can speak to this, let everyone else know whether or not they should get this game on sale. Set out on a quest with a beautiful anime-inspired fantasy world brought to life in RUINSMAGUS Complete. And it's 35% off. But if you're a PlayStation Plus member, you save 5% more, making it 40% off total. Over 120 people have rated it 4.35 out of 5 stars, with 82% of the audience giving this 4 or 5 out of 5. RUINSMAGUS claims to be a genuinely magical experience with an engrossing narrative, a heartwarming musical score, and professional voice acting that add to the game's depth. You are a new guild member, and your mission is to strengthen the guild with your magic, resources, and wisdom. Cast and blink your way through a stunning fantasy world across more than 25 story-driven quests, and explore the ruins beneath the city of Grand Omnis. Overcome deadly puzzles to uncover valuable artifacts, master 16 powerful spells, and use them to defeat rivals and guardians who protect the ruins. Survivors who are clever and agile enough to overcome the ruins can return to the surface, procure new items, and upgrade their equipment to increase their chances of success. Are you ready to face the challenges ahead and emerge victorious? This game has actually been around for quite some time now, and nobody in the comment section has ever spoken to this that I can recall. Anyone out there, if you own this, loved it, played it, or hate it, please let us know whether or not we should grab this at that sale price.
If the clock tower's so important, why stick it in the middle of the ocean?
Wait.
Clone your actions into endlessly repeating loops to build assembly lines and contraptions in this award-winning VR game, The Last Clockwinder. And it's 60% off! Over 500 people have rated it 4.43 out of 5 stars, with 87% giving it 4 or 5 out of 5. In this game, you revisit the Clock Tower as an adult, and it's an ancient haven for the galaxy's plants. Use the Clockwinder's gloves to turn the actions you take into looping, clockwork clones. They can do everything you can, from planting to cutting to throwing items through the air. Use their help to save the Clock Tower. And with this new mechanic, you're effortlessly creating your clones by simply acting them out, and then they just automatically mimic them afterwards. The idea here is you want to orchestrate a symphony of clones to work together to achieve efficient solutions to the Clockwinder's tasks. And if you're seeing seeing what I'm seeing on screen here, I think you'll know whether or not this game is for you. Being honest, I'd have to sit down and try it. Again, maybe I'll leave like I did with Toy Trains completely blown away, but yeah, I mean, this right away seems like a complicated puzzle game. But speaking to this critically acclaimed gameplay, this one Road to VR's 2022 PC VR Game of the Year, and they're quoted by saying, "We were entranced by its puzzles," so that says a lot for sure. And then you've got Hardcore Gamer's 2022 VR Game of the Year, one of the year's best VR games, allowing players to get immersed in this small yet magical world. And then Upload VR said, "A true delight and gem of a puzzle game." Again, Upload VR, I'm sorry, with the back Game of the Year, I can't hold that to any real merit just because I hate that game. But this one here, having those two other credentials speaking to it, absolutely now has me really intrigued.
Woohoo! Welcome to Townsmen VR.
Combining elements of a god game simulation and a classic city builder, Townsmen VR is considered a hidden gem by many in the community, and it's 50% off! Over 430 people rated it 4.28 out of 5 stars, with 82% giving this 4 or 5 out of 5. Start with a small settlement and expand over a world in a fully voiced campaign and story arching over 13 islands. Build more than 20 unique buildings and upgrade them while you immerse yourself in a thrilling story with many exciting quests, or simply play without restrictions in the sandbox mode with goals set by you. As the population grows, so does the demand for food and goods. Production chains help you see this need. Build farms, grind the grain harvested at the mill, and bake delicious bread for your townies. But what if your mill won't operate without a breeze? Simply give the mechanism a push with your hands. Amongst other things, you can slap lazy workers with a fish or help citizens collect about 20 different raw materials. See the world you helped create from the view of a townsman. Yep, you can shrink yourself to experience your town at eye level with your townies. Eventually, you'll recruit brave soldiers and build catapults, bows, and crossbows to protect your island from the Black Knight's raiding henchmen. But don't worry, your personal advisor, Sir Clunkalot, will accompany you on your virtual tour of the medieval age with valuable tips. Captain Toonhead vs. the Punks from Outer Space is an over-the-top tower defense game, and it's currently 20% off right now. But if you're a PlayStation Plus member, you save 20% more, making it 40% off total. Only 47 people have rated it 4.66 out of 5 stars, with 93% of the audience giving this 4 or 5 out of 5. I have not played the game before, but from what I understand, you do play the traditional tower defense game in third-person mode, setting up your base, and then you go into first-person mode and actually do the action or the combat side of things here. VR Scout has said Captain Toonhead might be the most over-the-top VR game ever. As well, VR GameFAQs has said one of the best tower defense games I've ever played in VR. And this does look absolutely wacky and bizarre. Every character, every theme, all of it just looks so insanely weird. And you're supposed to balance the action with strategy, as shooting alone will not defeat the waves of cyber chickens and terra sharks. Combine those pinata tower bombs with your throws in a very strategic way if you want to save the Enter cubes and defeat Nicola Voorhees' punk army. I don't even know. I just know this is a tower action defense game, and everyone that has spoken to this, literally played the game, reviewed it, has gone on to say how much fun it is. I've never been into tower defense games personally, but yeah, this one definitely stands out amongst all the others for sure just by looking at this. So weird. Anyone in the comments section that does own the game, has played it, can you please let us know your experience? That way we know whether or not to grab this at the sale price.
Do not wait for the rest of the crew. I repeat.
Harpagun is a fast-paced arcade shooter with a unique twist, and it's currently 80% off right now. Only 18 people have rated it 4.17 out of 5 stars, with 89% of the audience giving it 4 or 5 out of 5. And the PlayStation Store simply says that you're gonna smash alien critters, argue with your dysfunctional crew, and destroy everything in sight. Use weapons or everyday objects with a gravity ray to wreak havoc. Built for VR, it delivers chaotic fun, immersive combat, and a wild, hilarious storyline. Interesting. Other than that, I have no idea what this game is truly about. Anyone out there, if you own this, played it, loved it, or hate it, please let us know in the comments section whether or not we should grab this at that sale price. The world remains in eternal darkness, and only you can bring the dawn. In the Light Brigade, and it's 40% off. But if you're a PlayStation Plus member, you save 5% more, making it 45% off total. Over 830 people have rated it 4.51 out of 5 stars, with 89% of the audience giving this 4 or 5 out of 5. And just a few months ago, they came out with the Shadowhunter Update 3.0. What really stands out from this game is the realistic gunplay inspired by historical World War weaponry that creates tense battles against increasingly difficult enemies, soldiers, creatures, and bosses. But then mix that gunplay up, infusing your rifle's bullets with light magic to raining fireballs on enemy hordes. Magic spells complement your rifle by adding more combat tools to your arsenal. With deep roguelike mechanics, you're going to start your run with a standard issue rifle and loot for powerful attachments like explosive charms, silencers, and more. And this is your classic roguelike experience. You know, we're going to get these tarot cards and you can power yourself up. So each run is uniquely different. As you're getting these bonuses, you'll have an option between a few cards to choose from, and then you're going to want to keep powering up that ability or make it as strong as possible. Very traditional roguelike stuff. And to speak to this from experience, because I have played the game quite a bit, I actually haven't gone back since I've been playing like Pavlov and Hellsweeper. I've gone a few times because people have been like, oh, you got to revisit it. But yeah, after Hellsweeper, again, after Pavlov, it really is hard to go back to this sort of game. It does remind me of playing a Quest version. I mean, it looks good, but that's not what it's about. It's about the gameplay, and that's what everyone online is going on about. You know, people who love this game absolutely love this game, but I can't recommend it with everything else going on. Not that it's a bad game, again, it's just that I played other games that really grab my attention all the time over this one, being honest. Submerge yourself in a world of magic, invaded by deadly machines and enemies, full of traps and dangers in Ven VR Adventure, and it's 50% off. But if you're a PlayStation Plus member, you save 5% more, making it 55% off total. Over 340 people rated it 4.23 out of 5 stars, with 81% of the audience giving this 4 or 5 out of 5. And this is quite simply a classic platformer where you control the hero Ven as you try to help save his world and all of his little companions along the way. And with that, the general consensus online is that this game is an all-around good platformer, but don't expect the same charm or fun factor as an Astrobot or Max Mustard. That said, I've never played the game before, so I can't speak to it from personal experience. Anyone in the comments, if you own it, played it, loved it, or hate it, please let us know if we should grab this at that awesome sale price.
Rokar has fallen. In its place, monsters and twisted spirits now thrive.
The arcade-inspired VR hack and slash Until You Fall is 50% off. Almost 1,500 people have rated it 4.09 out of 5 stars, with 75% giving this 4 or 5 out of 5, but 14% did give this 1 star. And I can totally speak to this from experience because I did play it all the way through on PSVR1, made it right to that last boss, did not beat it, but was totally in love with the game after playing it. But it was really weird to get used to at first, and this is using it on PSVR1, the old school mechanics. You actually had to time everything. There'd be these prompts on screen on where to block and when to slice for critical strike, and arrows on screen as well as to when to dodge. But the timing, the music actually just had this beautiful rhythm going on, and I started to catch on, and it was addictive, man. I mean, I really got into this game. This might be the time now to actually buy this game, especially if you've never played it before on PSVR1. And yes, it is another roguelike where you're playing these levels over and over, but there are a certain amount of stages, and there is a boss at the end that I got to, didn't quite beat him. But as you progress, getting these new weapons and new upgrades, it really does change the whole game completely. So it was a lot of fun. I can recommend it. I've not played this on PSVR2, and I was totally bummed again. No upgrade path. And I just have to mention one of our community members from the last sale, the Bad Tarot, piped in and said that they loved the game on the PSVR1, but it was really hard. And on the easiest difficulty, they could barely pass the last boss, which I can attest to this because I couldn't, to be honest with you. They go on to say that the PSVR2 is so much better. Not only did they beat every difficulty, but they got the platinum, and it all has to do with the superior version of the PSVR2. They go on to say that this is an amazing game and ought to be judged by its functioning counterpart on the PSVR2. Awesome. Thanks so much, the Bad Tarot, for sharing that with us, because I'm totally stoked to want to try this game out yet again.
No matter what the cost, we're gonna kill them all!
It's been 25 years since the beginning of the war, and it's up to you to save humanity in Starship Troopers Continuum. And it's 50% off right now. Over 160 people rated it 3.85 out of 5 stars, with 71% giving this 4 or 5 out of 5, but 14% did give this 1 star. This game features 2 to 3 player online squad-based combat, or you can take on the bugs alone to earn weapon and trooper upgrades, perks, customization options, along with over 20 weapons to exterminate the bugs. The classic critters return and bring new friends to the fray, including boss battles against tankers and plasmas, plus a special surprise along the way. Welcome to the Continuum. You are a psychic weapon created to end the war. As the Psi Commander with advanced psychic powers, you will control troopers, rank them up, and try to keep them alive. Promote them to citizenship for big bonuses and advance your own powers faster. And just to speak to this, many popular YouTubers have already commented on this game, with Beardo Benjo saying, Starship Troopers Continuum is a chunky, punchy feeling arcade shooter that works best when played with friends. It's also pretty hilarious. You can tell that this is the team behind the excellent Zombieland Headshot Fever. And Rise the King said, a game that's not only packed with intense VR action, but also offers that classic Starship Troopers action fans love. The combat feels good, and those boss battles against giant alien bugs are an absolute blast. And Gamertag VR said that player progression is compelling, and the trooper unlocks attached to the roguelike element of the game are fun and pretty engaging. Right on. But it is that comment by Beardo Benjo that related this game to Zombieland Headshot Fever that has me absolutely wanting to check this out now. Humanity is a unique blend of puzzle solving and action platforming, and it's 50% off. That said, if you're a PlayStation Plus Extra member, this game is already in your catalog, so do not buy this. With over 3,000 people rating it 4.19 out of 5 stars, 79% of the audience gave this 4 or 5 out of 5. This is a unique blend of puzzle solving and action platforming. Humanity puts the fate of all mankind in your hands. So yeah, you are literally a dog charged with commanding massive marching crowds to jump, turn, push, float, shoot, and climb their way to salvation. Guide the masses through 90 plus stages filled with obstacles, enemies, puzzles, unlockable skills, and wild boss fights in the narrative campaign. Very cool. Or you can browse a wide array of user-made levels or build your own, crafted via the super easy-to-use in-game stage creator. Talk about awesome replayability there. You know, that alone just intrigues me. And this is a flat-screen game that included a VR option mode, so you can play this on flat screen if you choose to, but I have no idea why you would. Anyone in the comment section that owns this game and plays it or has any experience whatsoever, should we pick this up at that sale price? Immerse yourself in poetic storytelling as you explore new mind-bending VR mechanics in A Fisherman's Tale 2, and it's 60% off. Over 270 people rated it 4.09 out of 5 stars, with 77% of the audience giving this 4 or 5 out of 5. And what makes this one unique is that you solve puzzles using your own body, detaching and controlling your limbs, and finding new attachments to progress throughout the game. And from everywhere I'm reading, the first one did win all these awards. The second one was good, but it wasn't as good as the first one. Infinite Inside has you explore a serene and mysterious world, collect shards, solve intricate puzzles, and assemble keys to unlock the mysteries of a secret society. It's currently 30% off, but if you're a PlayStation Plus member, you save 5% more, making it 35% off total. Under 100 people have rated it 4.01 out of 5 stars, with 72% giving this 4 or 5 out of 5. When the ancient artifact known as the plinth mysteriously materializes in your home, it opens a portal to a tranquil, dreamlike world filled with impossible architecture and hidden secrets waiting to be discovered. Guided by the echoes of past explorers, you will collect shards, solve three-dimensional puzzles, and assemble keys to unlock the mysteries of a secret society committed to maintaining the balance of order and chaos. Can you solve the puzzles and reveal the truth about the society, the legacy of the plinth, and ultimately your own place in this mystical world? Escape into 5 peaceful and soothing labyrinths filled with mysteries, and engage with a deep and captivating story embedded in the world. Tackle mind-bending geometric puzzles at your own pace with intuitive controls, and immerse yourself in rich, captivating audio and music, deepening your connection with the world. If you grew up with a Sega CD and you love the full motion video games, Not for Broadcast VR is supposed to be the best one ever made, and it's 75% off right now. 135 people have rated it 3.88 out of 5 stars, with 70% giving this 4 or 5 out of 5, but 17% did give this 1 star. Now I have to say, I've seen this game on sale a few times now, and I only discovered what the game was about by having to watch these trailers, which I cannot show you without being copyright stricken, so I am going to put them in the description of this video. But just quickly speaking to it, I was blown away as to how mature the whole theme of the game was, and really blown away as to how it does speak to kind of current events going on, so I do highly recommend you check out the 2 trailers in my description. But it does look like it takes the full motion video games to the next level, and in the description it says it is the award-winning Dark darkly comedic game of televised chaos that critics have called a bizarre masterpiece and quite possibly the best FMV game ever. Not for Broadcast VR takes the gameplay, story, and gripping dark comedy of the original award-winning FMV adventure and brings you closer to the news than ever before. I'd never played the original, so I have nothing to compare this to. Get a full view of the entire newsroom, interact with your equipment, and punch, slap, and grab everything that dares to get between you and the truth. Egotistical celebrities, dishonest politicians, and strange sponsors clash on the airwaves. You're in the chair to ensure that the show goes on uninterrupted. The whole concept is that you're supposed to keep the general public entertained with your editing skills and keep an eye on those ratings. Make politicians look greedy or brave. Make resistance leaders look noble or violent. And make news anchors look charming or unhinged. Who and what you decide to show on screen might change the course of history. Very cool. Tune out the chaos, load up the ads, crank up the volume, and immerse yourself in the dreams, fears, hopes, and neurosis of an entire nation, all while sitting on your floor. Again, I highly recommend you do check out those 2 trailers in my description. Hello Neighbor Search and Rescue is a groundbreaking VR horror puzzle game where you sneak into your creepy neighbor's house to save your friend. And it's 75% off. But if you're a PlayStation Plus member, you save 5% more, making it 80% off total. Almost 500 people have rated it 3.64 out of 5 stars, with 63% giving it 4 or 5 out of 5, but 21% did give this 1 star. I found out that this game actually has you play multiple characters at the same time. It reminds me of Grand Theft Auto 5, where you're using these 3 characters, but they're all in real time doing their activity in that location. And each unique character has their own key items and skills. And of course you can choose at any time to switch between these characters, solving specific puzzles and avoiding the neighbor as you attempt to reach the creepy basement. You're gonna have to use your wits to find alternate solutions to a dynamic range of puzzles and challenging environmental obstacles. Sounds awesome. Many puzzles that have seemed unsolvable at first glance require you to use the perspectives of the multiple characters in conjunction to overcome them. Very cool, man, honestly. You're supposed to use your own approach to infiltrate Mr. Peterson's house by alternating perspectives, of course, combining character skills to dynamically solve these puzzles, uncover hidden mysteries, and reveal new pathways through your environment. But of course, you are going to confront your fears, experiencing nightmarish dream sequences, and learn more about the secrets of the Hello Neighbor universe. A new mysterious enemy threatens to tear apart the universe, and only you can stop them in Doctor Who, The Edge of Time, and it's 35% off. But if you're a PlayStation Plus member, you save 5% more, making it 40% off total. 160 people have rated it 3.78 out of 5 stars, with 67% giving it 4 or 5 out of 5. And because I have not watched any episodes of Doctor Who, I cannot speak to any of this stuff, but the PlayStation Store description does say, a new mysterious enemy threatens to tear apart the universe, and only you can stop them. Players will solve mind-bending puzzles, grapple with iconic monsters, and encounter new horizons in a quest to find the Doctor and defeat a powerful force that threatens to destroy the fabric of reality. That's a mouthful. You get to pilot the TARDIS. Team up with the Doctor and travel through space and time to new horizons. Experience the world of Doctor Who like never before and interact with tools such as the sonic screwdriver. I'm guessing that's a thing in the TV series. This is actually voice acted by the 13th Doctor herself, played by Jodie Whittaker. And it also includes authentic music, props, sets, title sequence, and Doctor Who Easter eggs. Right on. Stand against iconic baddies including the infamous Daleks, and even come face to face with brand new, never before seen monsters. Includes Time Lord Victorious, where you get to explore the 10th Doctor's TARDIS and hunt for 8 new Doctor Who collectibles. But for all of you that totally love the Doctor Who, they are offering Maze Theory Doctor Who Bundle is also 35% off, but if you're a PlayStation Plus member, you save 5% more, making it 40% off total. So it does include that PSVR2 game, Doctor Who Edge of Time, but as well 2 PS4 flat screen games. So I'm just showing you what they offer. I only recommend the PSVR2 game that they have on sale, but again, I'm not a fan of the show. I've never watched any of this stuff. For those of you that do love it, you might want it all. Startenders is an intergalactic bartending simulator, and it's currently 70% off. Over 130 people have rated it 3.86 out of 5 stars, with 70% of the audience giving this 4 or 5 out of 5, but 10% did give this 1 star. Abducted by accident and enrolled in the Startenders Bartending Academy, you'll have to shake, slice, and serve to survive until you find a way to escape. Use your skills to create delicious concoctions to serve to your alien patrons. Use wacky machines and even wackier ingredients to earn your way home. Unlock those new machines to build and strange ingredients to create your own drinks altogether. Visit colorful locations across the galaxy or hang out in the habitat. Make and name your own custom drinks for customers to buy and compete on the intergalactic leaderboards and daily play. Right on. I personally never played the game before, but I am seeing this other DLC or update that they've released with this new mode. I'm not sure if it's this infinite replayability or what, but this may be totally worth it at that sale price. Again, anyone in the comments section, if you own it, love it, hate it, played it, whatever, let us know what you think. The Utility Room is a VR journey that takes you behind the scenes of the universe. It's currently 25% off, but if you're a PlayStation Plus member, you save 15% more, making it 40% off total. Over 130 people rated it 3.79 out of 5 stars, with 66% giving it 4 or 5 out of 5, but 12% did give this 1 star. And because I have not played this game yet and have not looked into it other than what's on the PlayStation Store description, it simply says, "Beyond a door lies a barren landscape inhabited by giant rocky heads. Here, the maintenance and heavy lifting required keeps existence stable and temporal. You are a tourist. Don't do anything foolish." And that is it, literally. So it's supposed to take you behind the scenes of the universe, but I'm assuming this is a straight up puzzle game with a twist of horror inside here. Anyone in the comments section that owns this game has played it. Can you please let us know whether or not we should get this at the sale price? If you're craving more of that crazy kayak experience, then you need to also check out Whitewater VR Extreme Kayaking Adventure, and it's 30% off. Over 140 people rated it 3.6 out of 5 stars, with 63% giving it 4 or 5 out of 5, but 17% did give this 1 star. With stunning graphics, realistic physics, and heart-pumping action, you'll race against the clock as you navigate through wild waters filled with obstacles and surprises. Experience the rush of whitewater kayaking and breathtaking VR as you navigate through stunning scenery and dodge obstacles along the way while trying to become the best among your friends with the online leaderboards. This is all about racing against the clock and conquering the unique challenges within each environment. Interesting. Anyone in the comment section that owns this, played it, loved it, hate it, whatever, please let us know whether or not we should get this game at that sale price. Do you hate spiders? Then you might want to check out Kill It With Fire VR, cause it's 75% off. Over 560 people rated it 3.55 out of 5 stars, with 60% giving it 4 or 5 out of 5, but 24% gave this 1 star. That said, if you're a PlayStation Premium member, you can totally try the game for a full hour to see whether or not this game is for you. The game claims to feature tons of unique weapons and equipment with 8 different spider species, realistic fire simulation system, there are dozens of optional objectives, don't know how that works, with loads of hidden upgrades, and then you can battle in the Arachno Gauntlet. Again, I wish I knew what that was. And then it claims to have a secret ending. From everything I'm seeing here in the trailer, it just looks like a classic roguelike pick up and play arcade action style game, which, you know, I've always enjoyed typically. But I don't think this game will scare me. Anybody in the comments section, if you can please speak up whether or not we should get this game at the sale price, that would be awesome. Embark on a perilous journey across the plague-ridden realm of Meloria in the Wizards Dark Times Brotherhood, and it's 50% off. But if you're a PlayStation Plus member, you save 10% more, making it 60% off total. Over 180 people have rated it 3.48 out of 5 stars, with 56% giving it 4 or 5 out of 5, but 22% did give this 1 star. In this game, you're going to forget about button combinations as you discover and master 11 individually designed spells of various uses and effects. Command the arcane powers with nothing but hand gestures, as a true wizard does. This game features 3-player co-op where you forge a brotherhood with up to 2 fellow wizards and use your class-specific skills, Fire, Frost, and Storm, to battle new types of enemies and variants, plus explore the levels with new challenges. This is a remastered single-player adventure where a mysterious, dark plague has fallen on the realm of Meloria, twisting the inhabitants into beings of hatred and madness. And the last time this game was on sale, Corey mentions here that the game is fun, but the gesturing for spells is a little janky. The graphics aren't very good, and the game shuts down upon the first startup. So there's definitely something off here. Again, anyone in the comment section, if you owned it, loved it, or hate it, please speak to this in the comments. Let us know whether or not we should grab this at that awesome sale price. The completely rebranded Among Us 3D VR finally allows flat screen players to participate in the VR environment, and it's currently 30% off. Over 1,500 people have rated it 3.43 out of 5 stars, with 58% giving this 4 or 5 out of 5, but 30% did give this 1 star. The classic game now returns with a massive amount of players flooding the gates, and with this, a new game mode called the Infected. Quite simply, the Infected try to catch and infect all the crewmates to expand their ranks before the crewmates can finish a set number of tasks. And the other major difference from the original VR version is that all cosmetics are now purchased using Stardust. This is heavily dependent upon the social interaction, where you're going to be tasked, quite literally, with doing tasks at the same time as everybody else, but you never know who's chosen as the imposter. That might be you actually one round, and the idea here is that you're supposed to do your tasks like everyone else, but at the same time deduce who is the murderer going around murdering everybody. That is the very quick gist of it. There's a lot more actual mechanics to the game that I can't speak to because I've never played it, but you can totally check online. There's so many people that have covered this, and this was originally a mobile game that got extremely popular, and then they reinvented this in VR, and from what I'm seeing, this is the way to play Among Us, for sure. And for the first time ever, you can get Gun Club VR and all of its DLC bundled together in Gun Club VR Ultimate Edition, and it's 70% off. But if you're a PlayStation Plus member, you save 5% more, making it 75% off total. Over 2,000 people have rated the base game since the PSVR1 days, 4.21 out of 5 stars, with 81% of the audience giving this 4 or 5 out of 5, but 10% did give this 1 star. This game does have an upgrade path, which is a little cheaper, but it does not include all of the DLC featured in the Ultimate Edition, so this is the better deal if you're interested. And I have to say, on the PSVR 1, this was revolutionary. Quite literally, the first game that included manual reloading in VR for PSVR 1 there. It was just so well done with all the different challenges, all the different targeting ranges, and a zombie mode on top of that. These, flat pieces that are just popping up in front of you. It actually did a really good job of everything, and then some sort of World War II mode in there as well. With Reloaded, it says it has full audio remastering for every weapon, massively enhanced textures and lighting, and remodeled ranges makes this the most realistic and accurate version of Gun Club ever. With over 100 weapons and counting, as well as interactive ranges, sideshows, and the unlimited freedom of sandbox mode, there has never been a better time to hit the range. Earn cash and rankings based on your performance, and then unlock hundreds of events including hostage rescue and sniper scenarios to the zombie apocalypse. Now, if you already own the base game and just want to get the DLC separately, you can get the SWAT DLC at 70% off as well. But if you're a PlayStation Plus member, you save 5% more, making it 75% off total. And with that SWAT DLC, it puts you to the test as you master the weapons and tactics needed to become the best of the best. Hone your skills in the intense combat training simulations, face off against the waves of hostile targets, and survive the onslaught of the apocalyptic zombie horde. I'm showing you right here the list of guns that you're getting, and with that, along with an all-new subway scenario with dozens of new events to master. The second DLC offered here is Wild West, and it's 70% off, but if you're a PlayStation Plus member, you save 5% more, making it 75% off total. And I'm showing you a list of all the Western type based guns that are included with that one, all with the complexities of the manual reloading with all those old guns, which sounds amazing. But if you don't like that manual reload, in this DLC they offer you a quick reload function, which I'm surprised they're doing that, but maybe some people don't want to have to do the whole 6-shooter thing and reload. And the last one for Gun Club is the Heavy Weapons DLC, and it's 50% off, but if you're a PlayStation Plus member, you save 5% more, making it 55% off total. Unleash hellfire in the action-packed new high-explosive shooting range, or rack up the collateral damage on over 100 new classic, wave, and zombie events. And as you can see here, you're getting a bunch of RPGs and grenade launchers, making a total of 11 explosive new heavy weapons. Awesome. Explore the streets of 1920s Birmingham and London in Peaky Blinders, The King's Ransom Complete Edition, and it's 35% off. But if you're a PlayStation Plus member, you save 5% more, making it 40% off total. Over 260 people rated it 3.33 out of 5 stars, with over half the audience giving it 4 or 5 out of 5, but 30% gave this 1 or 2 stars. It's 1928, and you've been fleeing the firing squad for over a decade. Turning to infamous crime boss Tommy Shelby for help, you become embroiled in the hunt for Winston Churchill's Red Box, a briefcase containing the identities of every British agent around the globe. As you've drawn deeper into England's criminal underworld, you find yourself at war once again. Enemy factions are closing in, and they all want the box. for power, for money, and the chance to bring the country to its knees. Keep your wits about you as simmering tensions explode in intense action. Defeat the odds and bring back the box, by order of the Peaky Blinders. Now, the complete edition contains all additional content, including 7 narrative combat missions which take place after the main story. Explore Small Heath and Limehouse in free roam, take on shooting galleries and combat challenges, and be rewarded with item skins and player customization options. Come face to face with iconic characters from the show, including Tommy Shelby and his hot-headed brother Arthur, both played by Cillian Murphy and Paul Anderson. And of course, this is improved for the PSVR2, including the enhanced graphics, haptics, and the adaptive triggers. Very cool. The original text-based RPG from the 70s is back in VR in Colossal Cave VR, and it's 70% off. But if you're a PlayStation Plus member, you save 5% more, making it 75% off total. Only 63 people have rated it 3.75 out of 5 stars, with 68% giving this 4 or 5 out of 5, but 29% did give this 1 or 2 stars. Embark on a timeless journey through a sprawling cave system packed with treasures, creatures, mazes, and wits-defying puzzles. The great grandpappy of adventure games will test you and tickle your problem-solving skills as you unearth its plot and secrets. Through cunning trial and error, you will crawl through tight squeezes, encounter impressive caverns, collect inventory, locate treasure, thwart dwarf attacks, all while keeping your eye on the score before your lamp goes out. Very interesting. This groundbreaking game is considered one of the most influential in history, establishing conventions that have become standard in the adventure genre. It has been ported to just about every computer and console, played by millions, and inspired by many other games, books, movies, and TV series. Very interesting. Again, I never played this game growing up, have no attachment to it whatsoever. But for those of you that do and want everything to be able to play this on your PS4, PS5, or PSVR2, you can get the Colossal Cave game bundle, and it's 70% off as well. But if you're a PlayStation Plus member, you save 5% more, making it 75% off total. Awesome Asteroids pays homage to the arcade classics, and it's 50% off right now. But if you're a PlayStation Plus member, you save 15% more, making it 65% off total. 140 people rated it 3.16 out of 5 stars, with a completely mixed bag of reviews here. Quite simply, you'll blast through waves of asteroids using lasers, rockets, and Gatling guns while trying to keep bases and other structures from taking damage. Grab shield power-ups to charge your shields, which will protect you from asteroids and mines. You'll need to take out enemy ships before they can destroy your bases while avoiding their defenses. So that is super simple. Whether or not it's fun using the HOTAS, I do believe this game was touting to have the eye tracking, so you just look and it automatically locks on to fire. But yeah, again, I'm not too sure whether or not it's fun to play. Again, anyone in the comment section that wants to speak to it, please do. Fight for your life and try to escape in this arcade on-rail shooter, Train Chase, and it's currently 75% off right now. Only 39 people have rated it 3.41 out of 5 stars, with over half of them giving it 4 or 5 out of 5, but a quarter of them did give this 1 or 2 stars. And quite simply, you are being chased by the enemy and have to escape. Fight their drones, turrets, and vehicles on a train through several levels and several waves. You can choose between the story or the wave mode. In story mode, you have to go through multiple level after another and defeat the enemy bosses in each level. Interesting. So there's bosses. In the wave mode, you encounter waves of enemies, and during a pause, you can buy new weapons. The key here is to use different types of weapons to deal as much damage with the least amount of bullets. You can pick between a pistol, a shotgun, a machine gun, and a grenade launcher. But don't forget to dodge their attacks during bullet time. The bullet time activates as soon as an enemy bullet gets close. Then you have the opportunity to move around if you want. Enjoy a vivid, interactive fiction about an artist finishing her final piece of her gallery submission in Behind the Frame, the Finest Scenery VR, and it's 20% off. But if you're a PlayStation Plus member, you save 5% more, making it 25% off total. Only 40 people have rated it 2.5 out of 5, with most giving it 3, 2, or 1 out of 5 stars. That said, I don't think this is a game. The actual PlayStation Store description goes on to say that now available in VR, you'll be able to paint brushstrokes and fully realize 3D space. A relaxing, eloquent experience that can be played at any pace. Become immersed in a panoramic world filled with resplendent colors, beautiful hand-animated visuals, and a smooth, easy listening soundtrack. As a passionate artist, seek the missing colors that will bring your paintings to life, all while remembering to take the occasional coffee and breakfast breaks that keep you going. There's more than meets the eye, for every painting has a story to tell. Sounds like Transformers. Dive into and explore panoramic VR worlds. Experience an evocative story through the eyes of a passionate artist. There's really not much else to say other than the PlayStation Store description and what you're seeing on the trailer here. Anyone in the comment section, if you own the game, app, experience, whatever you call this, please let us know what your thoughts are on whether or not we should get this on sale. I have no idea. Set in a post-apocalyptic world, Horror Adventure Zombie Edition is 80% off. Over 5,100 people have rated it 3.18 out of 5 stars, with under half of them giving it 4 or 5 out of 5, and a third of them gave this 1 star. And I do not have an official trailer, but I am showing you somebody else's video right now so you can get a sense of what you're seeing. I'm including the link in the description to their actual channel there. The official PlayStation Store description says it's a zombie shooter set in a post-apocalyptic world. There's been an outbreak of a mysterious virus killing people and transforming them into zombies. As one of the few people left on the planet, experience what it's like to live in the city of the undead. Hunt in the world and find ways to survive. Kill the virus-infected people and protect your family. So the game does feature a single-player story with a full-fledged narrative campaign to give you a taste of what it's like to live in the post-apocalyptic world. It says that it includes heavy, physics-based, realistic interactions, including support for weapon pickup and reload. Support for more than 15 plus unlockable weapons throughout the story. And what's really cool, they do offer an actual demo for the game. So yeah, if you're unsure whether or not this game is for you, you can get the Horror Adventure Zombie Edition demo for free on the PlayStation Store right now. Horror Adventure VR is an interactive experience set in a procedurally generated haunted house, and it's 80% off. Over 6,200 people have rated it since the PSVR1 days, 2.96 out of 5 stars, with 36% giving it 5 and 40% giving this 1 star. So in doing some digging, this obviously is a budget title, and it claims to have procedural generation, but from multiple reviews, it changes how you walk through the house, but the rooms themselves are the same, if that makes sense. They don't actually change the rooms up, so you do see the same shit all the time, essentially. Even though it does claim to have jump scares as its warning, yeah, I didn't hear a lot of people talking about it being that scary. You know, it's decent from what I understand. Decent. I mean, I'm not expecting anything, but if it's okay, even for half an hour, that might be worth it. But if you're unsure, what's really cool, these guys are offering a Horror Adventure PSVR2 demo for free. So yes, I highly encourage you check that out. Normally, I feel like the developers only provide demos if they're confident people want to play their game. So good on them for doing that. So yeah, check that out. Launch yourself into orbit with Space Explorer PSVR2, and it's 80% off. Over 2,100 people have rated it since the PSVR1 days, 2.73 out of 5 stars, with 39% giving this 4 or 5 out of 5, but just under half gave this 1 star. I do wonder if it's the premise of the game, you know, if it's more of the experience than it's an actual game, and many people were turned off, but people that want the experience are happy with it. I'm unsure. Again, anyone in the comments section want to speak to that, that'd be great. The official description says, experience how spacecrafts lift off into orbit. Join the crew on space shuttle missions and assist in the servicing of the space station. Take a trip into orbit and experience the Earth from above. Encounter life on board the space station. Learn how to move in zero gravity and participate in spacewalks. Ooh, that'd be creepy. Take control of the shuttle in an accurate physics-based landing simulation. Space Explorer is a game as well as an educational simulation. Experience the thrill of viewing the Earth in orbit, which is unparalleled in virtual reality. Now, it claims that it features high-quality models and textures with smooth VR experience without any motion sickness. As well, it says scientifically accurate simulations and gameplay with multi-language support. And if you're unsure whether or not that appeals to you, you can check out the Space Explorer VR demo on the PlayStation Store right now. Virtual makeovers never felt more real in House Flipper VR, and it's 30% off. But if you're a PlayStation Plus member, you save 5% more, making it 35% off total. 100 people have rated it 2.42 out of 5 stars, with 31% giving it 4 or 5 out of 5, but over half the audience gave this 1 star. Grab the controllers and get to work. You will single-handedly assemble the heaters, plaster the walls, and do tens of other jobs to bring back the former glory of the place. And with better graphics and VR controls, you're now able to freely walk around at your own pace, unlike before where you had to teleport from node to node. Renovation activities require a lot of effort, so they included an animated companion, Beaver the Builder, to support you along the way while exploring the elements of the game. There is a series of challenging renovations ahead of you, so do not hesitate. Reach for your tool belt, get your crew, and take matters in your own hands. Are you ready to become the best flipper? It's all up to you. Again, anyone in the comment section, if you own this game, please let us know what you think and whether or not we should grab this at that sale price. You know, that rating there, was that during launch, or has the game been heavily patched since? I'm genuinely curious. Solve a mystery of the famous detective in this VR escape room called The Murder of Sherlock Holmes, and it's 72% off. But if you're a PlayStation Plus member, you save 5% more, making it 77% off total. Only 44 people have rated it 1.82 out of 5 stars, with 70% giving this 1 star, but 14% did give this 5 stars. And normally this is the point where I say, whoa, what happened here? Because the game touts to be able to interact with everything in the environment, which I absolutely love about VR, but that score has been obviously confusing me for so long here. That said, I do have to give Cussman some more credit here, because he did actually let us know in the comment section last time it was on sale that this is one of the worst games that they spent time on the PSVR2. And then Cussman goes on to say they don't know whether or not the interactivity is better on other platforms, but what they played on PSVR2 was definitely broken and not fun to try and make work. Enough said, I totally understand and I super appreciate you giving us the heads up.
See that block with my pickaxes?
Okay, so that is all of the games and DLC on sale going on until Wednesday, July 30th. Do be sure to grab Arken Age currently at 40% off, and also don't forget to check out that video I posted here, the best way to play Arken Age, because that's totally going to help you out. That said, if you guys like the video or any of the sales videos that I produce, please click that like button. And if you love what I'm doing with the channel, please subscribe to it. And for all of you that have subscribed to my channel, thank you so much, I super appreciate it. Until the next one.
Cool.